Hi guys, today we're going to be making a really cute Easter card. I did decide to add some extra embellishments to this, but you could totally skip that part and it would be just as cute. So to make this card, I have a little chocolate bunny that I cut from the Create a Critter 2 cartridge. The banner comes from The First Few Years, and the grass is from Plantin Schoolbook. And I have some Doodlebug glitter in pink and brown, some Apple Barrel white acrylic paint that I did not use, 2 distress inks in peeled paint and vintage photo. I also have some Lawn Fawn ABC stamps in Harold's ABCs. My card base is cut from Smiley cards, and the oval I cut using my Creative Memories oval cutter. So let's get started. To make the background, I decided to not use the paint and use my nestability dies. I'm using the standard circles in size small, and I'm using the smallest one, which cuts just a little under 3/4 of an inch. And what I really liked about this was it really made the background look a lot like an Easter egg. Plus, when you emboss it, you get these great little circles inside the circle, so it looks really cool. So now that I have all these little dots exactly where I want them, I'm going to use my Tombow multi-liquid glue to glue all of these down. So while I'm going to do that off camera because it's going to take me a little bit, so I will be right back. Okay, now that I have everything glued down, I'm just going to be trimming off all the extra that's hanging off the card base. So I'm just going to go ahead and flip that over and just cut off all the overhanging pieces. Super simple, you just line your scissors up right with the edge of your card base and trim right around. And this is my last one. And as you can see, the card base is turning out really cute. It looks just like a little polka dotted egg. So next up, I want to start decorating the little chocolate bunny. He is just adorable. Usually I would hide those little contour marks, but I forgot. But anyways, I'm going to go ahead and be placing on some dark brown cardstock on the back. A lot of times I just cut out my own pieces freehand because I want to change the color of the eyes or the ears of these little animals, but this particular one I'm just going to cut my own pieces and use all dark brown because I want this to be an all chocolate bunny. So here I'm just going to fast forward as I place each of the pieces using my glue. Alright, now that we have that finished, I'm just going to be getting ready to do the second layer pieces, which is these little heart nose and his little bow tie. And to do that, I'm just going to squeeze out a little of my glue onto a scrap piece of paper. And I like to just use a little toothpick to apply the glue with. And I just recently bought that little quick stick from We Are Memory Keepers, and it's great. I don't know why I waited so long to purchase one of these, but I picked it up when Joann's was having that 50% off sale. But yeah, I just picked that little guy up and put it right into place. And the back end of this stick actually comes off, but sometimes I just use my fingernails. So I just want to move that into place exactly where I want it. And next I'm just going to pick up the little bow tie and do the exact same thing. And just move that into place. Just press down to secure those in place. And next up I want to use some of my Doodlebug glitter. I've got pink and brown here. So I'm going to start by glittering his little nose and bow tie. So I put a little piece of scratch paper underneath my little chocolate bunny, and then I'm going to use my Quickie glue pen here. This is great for small pieces and really small places if you need to get glue on them. Has a little plug there to keep it from drying out. So here I'm just going to color in the nose, and I'm just going to be putting the glue all over the nose, and I'm going to do the same thing with the bow tie. And I'm just going to pour my glitter right on there. And in case you didn't know, Cricut is doing 2 weeks free to their subscription service. I guess they've been doing a lot of maintenance on their website, so it's had some outages. So if you don't have the subscription service, hop onto your account and cut some stuff for free. I think it goes through the 14th, so be sure to check your email to double check those dates. And I'm just going to be finishing up the glitter here, and I like to press the scratch paper onto the glitter to really get it into the glue. And just tap it off and funnel off the excess back into the container. Here's what he looks like so far after I dusted off the excess glitter. So I've also glittered up all the brown pieces as well. And next up I'm going to be arranging the grass that he's going to be standing on. So I went ahead and cut one of those pieces in half so it can be 3 layers of grass. And I'm just going to be adjusting where I want him to stand and where I want the grass to start and stop. And I want to make sure each of those grass pieces is slightly offset so it can be as full as possible. So I'm going to play with this and I'll be right back. Okay, now that I have the grass where I want it, I'm just going to be using a toothpick to help me apply a really thin layer of glue on the back of that grass. And I'm just going to be gluing where the solid strip is, not any of the grass pieces itself. And I just need to move that down just a touch. Okay, I'm just going to go ahead and apply this piece, and I want to make sure that it's offset. And just press down to get it to adhere. And I got my last piece of grass on there. And I'm just going to go ahead and fluff up the grass really lightly with my fingers. And I'm just going to be setting this aside to dry while we work on the next piece. So the next piece that we're going to work on here and super fast forward is that little banner. And I'm not doing anything complicated, I'm just going to be putting glue on the back of it and just sticking it together. I decided not to ink the edges or anything like that. I thought it was pretty cute just by itself. And my plan is to have that little chocolate bunny holding the little banner, and I'm going to be stamping on the banner as well. And to do that, I'm going to be using my Harold's ABCs from Lawn Fawn. And we're just going to be spelling out the word Hoppy. So I'm just going to get each of these letters stamped on here. I just love the ABC sets from Lawn Fawn. I only have a couple of them, but there are more on my wish list. So I didn't show this part, but I do have some adhesive foam tape on the back of the banner. Then I just put a little bit of glue on each of the edges so it could be touching his hands. That way it looks like he is holding that. And here's a little bit of an up close look at it. Looking pretty cute so far. So once the glue dried on the grass, I went ahead and cut off the excess, and now I'm just going to fluff up the grass using my fingers. And I decided to add a little bit of the Peeled Paint Distress ink, and I'm going to be inking up just a little bit of the grass just to give it a little bit of added depth. And I'm just going to do this really carefully since I do not want to get any on my card base. Just kind of lightly touching the edges and a little bit of the edges on the top of the grass blades. When I was finished with that, I went ahead and added some foam adhesive to the back of him. And I already peeled off the backing, so I'm just going to be slipping it right behind all that grass. Just want to make sure his feet get tucked all the way down there. And as soon as you find out where you like him, go ahead and press down to adhere him to your card base. And as I was pressing him down, I noticed that his little hands needed a little bit more of that foam adhesive tape, so I just cut 2 little small pieces and tucked it behind each of his hands. And after that was finished, I have the inside of my card, which I stamped with the word Easter. I also used the splatters from the Gorgeous Grunge stamp set from Stampin' Up! And I went ahead and stamped that just on 2 parts of the inside of the card. And the color that I used is Yo-Yo Yellow from Stampin' Up! Next up, I'm going to be using the Tombow Mono Glue to adhere the inside of the card. I'm just going to be putting that in 3 little places there. And I'm just going to open the card and line it up exactly where I want it and press down. So there is our finished card. I think this looks really cute, and like I said before, you don't have to do any of the extra embellishing if you don't want to. It looks just as cute if you don't. That just adds a little extra touch. And you can see the dimension here. I think you could get away with adding another layer of foam tape because the one I have is pretty thin. So here's a close-up of him. He is just darling. So thank you guys so much for watching and for all of your comments. I wish you all a very happy Easter and a happy weekend. Bye-bye.